Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel, or welcome back if you are a returning subscriber. My name is Veronica and I run a small crochet plushie business called Looping Teddies. In this week's video, I will be taking you to my first ever craft fair. We will be going over everything that I'm bringing. I will take you along to the market and show you some of the footage I got there. And then after the market, I will be breaking down everything that I sold at my first market, give you some of the stats, some of the best sellers, some of the worst sellers, some of the learnings I had when attending my market, and also I will be giving you the total profit of my first market. So stay tuned for that. Good morning, friends. It is Friday, March 15th, and it's the day before my market. I still have a lot to do before my market. The biggest thing is I need to tag every single item I have made. I haven't tagged any of them. I thought I would take you along with me on the process of tagging my items, kind of explaining the way I designed my tags, and then also later on going through all the items I've made and tell you my pricing for my items. I do want to say my pricing is done in euros since that is our currency, and I haven't seen a lot of other European crocheters doing markets and breaking down their prices. So this is just what I felt like people would buy my items for. So I kind of like went off of how difficult the pattern was, how long it took me. My yarn is all the same, and my yarn, I thankfully get it for pretty cheap. So that's not the biggest issue, but I kind of went off of how big my item is and how long it took me, and then like kind of eyeballing it how much the materials cost me for the pattern. So I will take you along and show you my process of tagging my items, and then I'll show you everything I'm taking to my market with prices. Okay, so excuse the mess you can see kind of back in the background. I am holding down my tag because it does say my address on it, because I am required to put that on my tag. But this is kind of like what my tag is looking like. On the front you have my logo and my Instagram handle, and then also my address because I have to do that. And as you can see, the design is put on there twice, so one on the left and one on the right side, so I can cut my tag up in the middle. As I have done so on this pile, I cut it in the middle so I can use half of this tag for every item. I have on the back, I have my, I don't know what that's called, so just like every type of item has an individual number that I will put in here. So let's say turtles are number 1 and then octers are number 2, so I'll put that in here. And then I put my price there and the CE sign, so it's compliant with EU toy safety law. And then I put the washing instructions, and also that you should keep the tag for further reference in the future. So that's everything that's on my tag. And then I just punch a hole through the tag at the top, and then I have this string that is in my logo colors, and I will put that on every single item I have made so far. So yeah, that's my tagging process so far. Okay friends, so let's go over everything I'm bringing to my market with prices. So I want to start with my small and mini plushies first, because the quantities of those are the most. So I'm mostly bringing items 15 euros and under. And the first thing I want to show you is a classic mini plushie that almost everybody takes to markets, and it's this baby octo, mini octo, and I have made 20 of those in all kinds of different colors, mostly blues and greens, but also some purple and pink. And as I said, I made 20 of these, and I will be selling these for 4 euros. I wanted to stay under the 5 euros mark just so little kids could pay with their pocket money. So 20 baby octos for 4 euros each. Then the next thing I have are baby whales, and I made 15 of these, and I will be selling these for 4 euros each as well. And these are all the colors I have made. The next item are these baby poppable mushrooms. I have made 11 of these, and I will be selling these for 5 euros each. So these are all the colors I have made. And then the next item I have are these baby chicks in a hat, and I have made 11 of these as well, and I will be selling them for 5 euros each as well. So these are all the chicks I have made. The next item I have made are these aliens. And I have made 9 of these aliens, and I will be selling them for €6 each. So here are all the aliens I have made. The next item I have are these little bumblebees, and I have made only 2 of them, and I will be selling them for €6 each. The next item I have made are these Easter poppers, these bunnies that are in a carrot and they can pop out. I have made 4 of them, and I will be selling them for €10 each. The next item I have are these squish ball birds. I have made 5 chicks, 3 mallards, and 4 penguins, and I will be selling these for €10 each. So after my minis, I have my regular sized plushies, and first up I have made these bigger bees. I have already tagged them because I kind of forgot I was filming what I was bringing to my market. So I have these bigger bees. I have some in yellow and black and some in yellow and brown, and I've made 5 of these, and I will be selling them for €12 each. The next item I'm bringing are my squish bobblehead bears, and I have made 4 of them, some in brown and some in like colorful colors, and I will be selling them for €12 each. Then I have my cat plushies. I have made 5 of them in different colors, and I will be selling them for €12 each as well. And then I have my brontosauruses. I have made 4 of them in different colors, like a dark blue, a lighter blue, a red, and then a dark green, and I will be selling them for €20. Okay, so then I'm bringing some chubby dinos, and I'm bringing 5 of them in different colors, and I will be selling them for €18 each. So I have this one, and then I have an orange one, another green one with a dark green top, a blue one with orange spikes, and then a red one. And then I'm bringing a lot of one-off items. I have a lot of bears that I only have made 1 of. So I'm bringing, actually this isn't a bear, but this bunny plush, and I have made 1 of them, and I'm selling it for €25. Then I have this bear I made a while ago. I have this bear in overalls, and I'm also selling it for $25, just because I was still learning back then and there are some imperfections. Otherwise I would be selling him for more, but I feel like $25 is a fair price. Then I have another bear, and for some reason I really hate this one. I just want to get rid of it. It looks like it has seen some stuff. Like, I hate the placement of the eyes. They're way too big and way too far up. But I'm also trying to sell this one for €25. Then I have another bear, and I only have made 1 of them, and this was actually a pattern test. I have this, I believe the pattern is called Bear, and it looks really cute. It has a little bobble head and some chubby little legs and a hat. I actually tried out a fuzzy yarn for the first time on this pattern, and I will be selling him for €30. So I only have 1 of them. And then I have my biggest bear, and you have probably seen him, and I will be selling him for €40, and I only have made 1 of them. Next item I'm bringing are my turtles. I have made 14 of them in all sorts of different colorways. I will try and show them to you, and I will be selling them for €15 each. So these are all the turtles I have made. Ooh, they want to fall out. Ooh. So quite a lot of different colors, and yeah, 14 of these, €15 each. And then I also have 2 bigger turtles. So this one is a little bigger, and it has a white and red shell. I will be selling him for $20 because he's very understuffed. It was another one of the items I made a while ago when I was still learning. So €20 for this one. Then I also have a really big turtle, and I will be selling this one for €35. So okay, so then next up I have a lot of one-off items I have made. I have this Pokeball squish ball that I will be selling for €6, and I only have 1 of this. I have a bigger penguin that I made from a different pattern, and it will be €12. I have 2 mini turtles. These were a pattern test a while ago, and I will be selling them for €6. I have a unicorn that was also a pattern test I made a long time ago, and I will be selling it for €25. I have my Easter bunny, and I made this also a while ago, and I will be selling it for 30 euros. I have a heart I made a while ago, and I will be selling it for 15. I have a single keychain. It's this little tiny bee, and I'll be selling it for 4 euros. And then I have my biggest plush I'm taking to my market, and it's this big dragon I made a long time ago, and this is my biggest plushie I've ever made, and I want to sell him for 60 euros because I kind of don't want him to sell right now, and I just want to take him to a couple markets because he is an eye catcher. Okay, so and the final thing I have for my booth are these Mabel chickens, and I will be selling them for 15 euros, and I have made 9 of them in different colors, and I will show them to you. So I've made 9 of them, some gray, some brown, some of these speckled rose, and then some white. Okay, I just added everything up that I'm bringing to my market, and if I sold out of everything, I would make 1,491 euros. So that is everything, and I have some scrunchies and stuff that I didn't add up in there, so I have around 1,500 euros worth of inventory that I'm bringing to my market. Now it's already like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I still have a lot of stuff to do. For example, I have to design my signs that I want to put up, where it says that everything is handmade and that I accept card payments and stuff like that. I have to design them and print them and put them in my picture frames. And then I also have to put my inventory into my SumUp app. So I have it for my card reader. I do have to charge my card reader and charge my power bank. And then I also have to pack everything and put it all like kind of together in my apartment so I can just grab and go tomorrow morning. So I will be doing that now, and I might update you later on today, or you will see me tomorrow on market day. Good morning, friends. It is Sunday, March 17th, so it is day 2 of my market, and I didn't talk to you yesterday because my mom helped me set up my market, and then she went away to go hiking all day, and then she came and helped me put all the stuff down. I did leave my tables overnight at the venue because it was watched overnight, so there was security, but I did not want to leave my product because it is very humid outside, and I didn't want my stuff to get wet or even get stolen with security. So I did take my stuff, and it's back in my car, but I was able to load everything in here smoothly, and now I will be going to a bakery and getting myself something for breakfast, and then I will be driving to the venue and setting back up again. Okay, so sorry for maybe the bad lighting in here, and also I'm moving around like some. I just parked in the parking garage. I am ready with my setup. It didn't take me a long time, probably like 30 minutes or something. And now I will be eating my breakfast in my car, and then I still have like half an hour until the market starts, because it starts at 10 and now it's like 9:15. And I started yesterday evening because I sold out of small bees and penguins. I made 2 penguins last night before I went out with some of my friends, and I made 2 of the penguins last night, but I also sold out of small bees. I only brought 2 yesterday, and I started making another one, so I will try and make at least 1 before the market starts. I will also try to, that's like the thing I will be focusing on today. Also, I need to tag. I made like 3 tiny chicks yesterday before the market closed down, because at 4 it started raining like crazy, and then after 4 I didn't get a single sale. So 4 to 6 I didn't make a single sale, so I did have some time, and I finished 3 little chicks with hats, because these, like, they sold like crazy yesterday, and I still need to tag them, and the 2 penguins that I made last night. And then I will start on making a small bee and hopefully finish it before the market. So that's the plan until we open up, and then let's hope. I don't want to spoil you, because I will tell you how much sold and everything that sold at the end, but yesterday was better than I expected, so let's hope today is at least as good as yesterday. I would be super happy with that, so let's go. Hey friends, it is after teardown of day 2 of my market, and I look like a mess. I'm a bit aware of that, and I'm stopped for some food because we're eating takeaway today, because it's already 6:30, and I ate my breakfast today, and that is it. So I'm very hungry, and I'm very excited to get some food. And I don't want to spoil too much, but day 2 was a little less successful than day 1, but still very alright. Still, there are some people coming. That's why I took my camera down a little bit, because I do not want to be, it feels kind of cringe to film in public, so I'm looking at the people to go away. Teardown was alright. I did, as I mentioned before, I rented my tent, so I didn't need to tear this down, and I only had to like break down my stuff and put it in my car. It's very unorganized back there. It's a lot more chaos than when I took my stuff there, but that's alright. Hey friends, happy Monday. It is the day after my market, and I'm talking to you right now to tell you a little bit about my market, about my bestsellers, and what sold, what didn't, what I learned from my market, and of course the thing you are all waiting for, my total sales and what I made. So let's get into it. My market was on Saturday and Sunday. It was about an hour away from where I live. It was on Saturday, it was from 10 to 6, and then on Sunday it was from 10 to 5. So quite a long market, 2 days in a row. And on Saturday I went there. Oh yeah, and the thing was, I did not have to bring a tent. I got a tent provided by the organizer. The whole event was pretty cheap. It cost me 35 euros to set up my stuff there. So a pretty cheap but a very long event, and I didn't really know what I was getting into. So it was in front of a big furniture store. They had like kind of like live music inside, and a sale going on inside the store. And also they were open on Sundays, which usually in Germany all stores are closed on Sunday, so that was kind of like a special thing. There were some food trucks there, and about, I'd say, like 10 or so vendors. So a pretty small market right in front of the store. So I didn't really know what to expect, and when I got there, I went on Saturday. My mom brought me to the market, and we went with her car, and then she left and went to go hiking. But she helped me set up my market. When we were setting up, it was kind of like unusual because I've never done that before, but it went pretty well, and we kind of, as you saw, the setup was very different from my mock setup in my last video, but I just went with what I had, and I kind of had to like switch it up and put it just the other way and also put my big table right at the front, because my vendor neighbor said that nobody would go inside a booth and to set it up at front, and I kind of went with their suggestion, and I would say it worked pretty well. On my left side there was an older woman. She was probably like in her 60s, and she was an artist, so she was selling paintings of hers. And on the other side there was a person selling wooden products that she had made herself, like some bowls, and she also like was a sewist, so she had wooden bowls and glass jars with like a wooden top on it that she had made herself, and then also some pillows and stuff. So very random mixed stuff. And both of them told me that the market was so small and that we will probably not make a lot of sales, because they had been to the market a couple times before COVID, so a couple years back, but they told me like not to expect too much and just like experience it first. But let me just say that was not the case for me personally. I mean, I can't compare it to any other market because I have never done another market, but I would say my sales were pretty good, and I was probably one of the booths that got the most sales at the market. I was the only crochet or plushie vendor there. There was another person like sewing another seamstress that was making like a lot of children's clothes and some hats and headbands and stuff like that. There was a person selling candles, a person that was selling like Easter decorations, some botanical stuff. There was a person who was selling like eggs and potatoes and stuff, and a person selling syrups and some homemade alcohol stuff. So very different from what I was selling. And I got lucky because a lot of people brought their kids to shop at the furniture store. So that was my whole target audience that was there. I got pretty lucky with that. So I set up on Saturday. Sales kind of started happening right away, so I didn't have to wait a long time. I was super nervous for my first sale. It was a girl. I still remember. I don't have a picture of her or anything, but she was like maybe like 11 or 12, and she runs up to my booth and her face lit up and she's like going everywhere, and her parents are kind of like in the background and watching her, and she's like touching all this stuff and very excited. And it took her like a minute to find something that she liked, and she bought one of these like poppable Easter thingies with the bunny and the carrot. I'll put a picture up here. So that was my first ever sale, and it was so exciting and I was so happy about it. Yeah, I yesterday I came home from the market. Yesterday I was there alone. On Saturday my mom helped me set up and tear down, and we drove there together. But yesterday I was alone, so it wasn't a problem, because so on Saturday when we tore down, I took my plushies and also like my decorations, so my crates and stuff. I left my tables and the tablecloths there and just zipped up the tent. And there was like security overnight. I just didn't want to leave my plushies for them to like get humid and wet or something, so I took them. So yesterday I only had to set up all the decorations and the product, but not the tables, so it was pretty easy. And then also tear down all alone, all by myself, wasn't a problem, especially because I didn't have to tear down the tent. That was done by the organizer. Everything fit into my car pretty well, because I do drive a very small car, but that wasn't a problem. Also my mom drives another very small car, and we fit everything into hers as well. I'll put a picture up here what it looked like when everything was in the car. So it was enough space. I'm like hooked on markets now, so I've already signed up for 3 more markets, 2 in April and then 1 in May so far. So let's hope I get into them. Let's get into what sold and what didn't, some of my best sellers, some stats, and the total of what sold. So Saturday was the slightly better day, so I made a couple more sales on Saturday than I did on Sunday. On Saturday I sold 42 items, and then on Sunday I sold 31. So that was that. In total I sold 73 products and I made 58 sales. So some people bought more than one item, and one person even got 3 different items in one purchase. I'll go over some of my best sellers and something that surprised me. The thing that sold out first. So I sold out of a couple of things. Some of them I got to replenish overnight from Saturday to Sunday, and some of them I didn't. So the thing that sold out first were my cats. I'll put a picture up here. I brought 5 and I sold all 5 within like 3 hours of the market. So I should have brought way more of those. So let's get into everything that sold. I'll go from the cheapest item to the most expensive item and tell you how many I have left or if I sold out of that item. So first up, the cheapest item, and I'll look down because I have my notes here where I wrote down everything. So the first item was one of the scrunchies that sold, and I sold one of them. Then I had a random bee keychain. I only had one and I sold one, so I sold out of bee keychains. I brought 20 small octos and I sold 4 of them for €4 each. I brought 15 small whales and I sold 7 of them for €4 each. I believe I brought 11 chicks with hats, and then overnight at my market, I believe I made 3 more. So in total I had 14 chicks with hats and I sold 12 of them for €4 each. So those were a great seller. So I don't know if that was because the market is right before Easter or if a lot of people just liked how they looked. A lot of girls especially loved the way they were like really round and really small. So I'm not sure if that's just a seasonal item or if they will be great sellers even after Easter, but these I definitely recommend. Then I brought 11 mushroom pops and I sold 3 of them for €5 each. I brought 9 minions and I sold only one of them for €6, and I was very surprised by that. They got a lot of attention and a lot of people gravitated towards them and grabbed them and kind of laughed about it and showed it to their kids and stuff, but only one person bought one, so that was surprising. That was another thing that I sold out of. So originally I brought 2 small bees, and then at my market I made 2 more, so I sold 3 out of the 4 small bees I had. But I sold out of them first, and then Saturday afternoon I made 2 more, and then on Sunday I sold another one, so kind of sold out of them. So, and the small bees were €6 each. Then I brought a random Pokeball that I made, and I only brought one of them. I sold one of them for €6. That was so funny. That was a small boy that bought it, and he kept calling it the Pikachu ball, and he was super excited, but his parents weren't so excited about him choosing this item, and they kept telling him, oh well, there are some whales here, or maybe get a dino or something. So they weren't looking at the price, they were just like not excited about him picking the Pokeball. But he was like, I want to get the Pikachu ball. And so they finally caved and they bought him the ball, and then also something else for his sister. I don't remember what that was, but they bought him this ball and he grabs it and chucks it across the whole space, like the outdoor space, and his parents' faces, they felt like, no, don't throw it, it's gonna land on the ground, it's gonna get dirty. But he was super excited. So that was an awesome story about how like this Pokeball was just the best thing for this small boy. Then that was like, I cannot recommend this pattern too much to people because I sold out of every single one of them. And I'm talking about the CROCHET squish birds. I'll put a picture up here. And I'm super excited about this pattern because I made 3 different kinds of birds from that pattern, and all of them I sold out of. So I brought 2 mallard ducks and I sold 2. I brought 5 chicks and I sold 5. Originally I brought 4 penguins, and then I sold out of them so quickly that I made another one Saturday afternoon at the market, and it sold right away. And then I made 3 more overnight from Saturday to Sunday, and all of them sold on Sunday. So I sold a total of 8 penguins, and people kept asking for more. So this pattern, I can't recommend it enough. I'm not sure, the chicks might be a seasonal thing because right before Easter. The penguins would be more of a winter thing, but they sold amazingly. So you should definitely try out this pattern and bring it to a market if you haven't already, because those sales were crazy for this pattern. And it might have been because I marketed them as stress balls. So I put a little price sign right next to them and I marketed them as stress ball birds, and people thought that was a great idea because there were some like girls my age that each bought one of them. So like 4 girls that each bought one of the birds and told each other like, oh, we can set it on our desk, and when the work from home gets too stressful, we can just squish it and stuff. So marketing them as stress ball birds was a good idea, and I recommend you try it out for your market because I mean, I sold 15 of those birds, and if I had brought more, I would have definitely sold more. And I sold them for 10 euros each because they don't take a long time to make. So a great market make, and I will definitely bring a lot more of them to my next market. So then another thing that sold pretty well was my Easter pop. So a pattern, I believe, by Cable and Canvas. I bought it the day before my market, or maybe like 2 days before my market, because I found out about it and I thought it was so cute and so amazing for Easter, and I didn't have a lot of like Easter themed items. So I bought it and I brought 4 and I sold 3 of them for 10 euros each. Then another great seller, and I will definitely be making a lot more of them for my next market, were these cats by I believe the creators called Big BBs or something like that. The pattern is pretty expensive, and I don't know if I put the clip in, but I've complained about this pattern before because the pattern designer doesn't explain a lot in the pattern, and it's kind of like a difficult pattern for an easy item. But these cats, they sold like crazy. That or the penguins, they kind of like sold at the same time. I brought 5 of these cats, and like at 1 o'clock on Saturday I had sold out of cats. So I sold my cats for 12 euros and people were so excited about it. This was an item that especially like middle-aged women were super excited about, because a lot of them like had cats or knew somebody who had a cat, and they were like, oh, this looks like so and so. These cats, I will bring like at least 10 more of those for my next market because they were a great seller. So 5 out of 5 cats sold for 12 euros each. Then I brought these bobblehead bears. It's originally, the pattern is a free pattern on Instagram, but it's a pumpkin bear pattern originally, so it has like a little stem on top. But I saw somebody else make it without the stem and just market it as a small bear. And as if you saw a video a while back, one of my market prep videos, I was talking about how I was searching for a small bear pattern, one that I could sell for pretty cheap, but it was definitely a bear, and that was the perfect pattern for that. I made 4 of those little bears, some of them in brown colors and some of them were colorful. So I sold 2 out of the 4 bears for 12 euros. So definitely try it out, especially like in very bright colors. People were gravitating towards those more. I brought 5 big bees, but I only sold 1 of them, and that was towards the end of the market, so those weren't great sellers. I brought 14 turtles and I sold 4 of them, but people were like excited about them. A lot of people touched them, a lot of people thought they were really cute, but I didn't sell a single one on Sunday, so all of them sold on Saturday. I don't know, I'm still very into the turtles, and I will definitely be making some more for my next market just to have a big range of colors. So I sold out of all the blue colored turtles that I brought. Oh, I sold my turtles for 15 euros each. And then my Mabel chicken, I brought 9 of the chicken and I sold 4 of them for 15 euros each. And I sold out of the white chickens, so 2 white chickens that I brought, those both sold. But they also got a lot of attention, like a lot of people grabbed them and squished them and thought they were funny, but only 4 of them got sold. Then something very surprising, I didn't sell a single one of my chubby dinos. So I brought 5 of them, nobody bought one, but they got a lot of attention, so a lot of people touched them, but nobody bought it. So I don't know if the price was too high because I had them set at 18 euros just because there's a lot of sewing involved. I wanted to get something for my time, but nobody's bought one. I will be bringing those, but I won't be making any more for my next market and see how they sell there. Then I had brontosauruses, so like I marketed them as long neck dinos because I don't know how many people actually know the correct term for those. And I brought 4 of them and I sold 2 of those for 20 euros each. Then I had a random unicorn plushie that I made a while ago for a pattern test, and I sold it for 25 euros, and I'm pretty excited because I wasn't planning on making any more and I just wanted to get rid of it. I just wanted like to get this random one-off item out, so I sold it for 25 to a little girl who kept bugging her parents and was saying like, oh, I want this for my birthday, and my birthday is coming up and I want it for my birthday. The father, he wasn't super excited about it, and he kept showing her like other items and was like, oh, maybe like get this dinosaur or something. I don't know, I don't remember what he recommended to her, but he wasn't excited about the unicorn, but she kept bugging him, so he bought it for her. So that little girl was so happy about her unicorn. Something really interesting happened because on Saturday I didn't sell any of my big items, so all the items over 20 euros got sold on Sunday. So the unicorn, and then I sold 2 of my medium-sized bears. So I had 3 different all different patterns, medium-sized bears. Two of them sold for 25 euros each. One of them sold to a like very old lady. She was like at least mid-70s, and she bought it for herself. She was so cute. Then I also had another little bear in overalls that I made a very long time ago, so that was at the beginning, and I wasn't super proud of it. But after the first small bear sold, I had to fill the hole, so I put it out, and it didn't take long. So like half an hour later, these two girls walk up to my booth and they bought the bear. So 2 medium-sized bears got sold. I had a bunny, and this one got sold as well. I had it for 25 as well because it was the same size as the 2 bears. So I sold out of my bunny. And then I had my big teddy bear, like the huge one. I had it for 40 euros. And when my mom helped me set up my booth, she, at the end of the setup, she took a picture of me in my booth. And then for some reason sent it to some of her friends. Then one of her friends immediately texted her and said like, please take the bear off the table, I really want to get it. So my big bear sold for 40 euros right at the beginning of the market, which was great because I paid 35 euros to be there. So that was that. My booth fee was paid for at the beginning of my market. So that was everything that sold at my first market. Let's go over some of the totals because I'm pretty sure that a lot of you are interested in this part of the video. So in total I had 2 sales that were made by card, which isn't a lot, but I was glad I still brought my card reader because I wouldn't have gotten those 2 sales if I didn't have one. And those 2 sales were 22 euros. And so 22 euros in card, and then the cash payments, which is the way bigger portion of my market, is 701 euros. So in total at my market I made 723 euros. I do have to pay some card fees for the 2 transactions that were made by card, so that is 31 cents that will be taken off of my total. And then also I did spend some money while I was at the market, so I spent 9 euros and 50 cents on food while I was there. And then also the booth fee, as I told you before, it was 35 euros. And then I wanted to be fair and calculate how much gas cost me to get there. So it was quite far away. As I told you before, I had to drive for an hour to the event. So it was 90 kilometers away. And if I were to charge myself for the gas that I had to spend to get to and from the event, it is about 23 euros that the gas would have cost me. So if we subtract all of the expenses that I had at my booth, then my total would be 655 euros and 19 cents. So I am super happy with how much money I made at my first market, how many sales I got at my first market, and even overall the experience that I got to make at my first market, because so many people were so excited and so many kids were so happy and like touching all the stuff, and it was just an overall amazing experience. And I can't wait for my next market to do all of that over again and to get to experience some more of these types of events. So stay tuned for that, and I will see you again next week in my next video. And please like the video, please comment and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you all again next Friday. Bye!